folks, welcome to my new YouTube show where it's called Ideas of India, right? And the whole idea of doing this show was to talk to people who are building for India, who see economic opportunity in India, and who want to make lives better in India. And we'll be talking to founders, we'll be talking to brand managers, we'll be talking to people from tier two cities who are building incredible businesses. But for our very first show, I have a very special guest. Abhishek, who is a co-founder at Yellow Bank. We go a long way back, by the way. I mean, we are from same college, same batch, of course. But more than that, back in 2007, we stayed in the same PG in Bangalore, and it was called Chandru's PG, and we worked at HAL. We did the internship together, and those were very interesting times in the sense that that was our first experience of working somewhere, and I'm not sure if it was a great one, but the conversations that stretched into night, and Abhishek is a very philosophical guy. I think that's how I look at him, but would love to understand from his story, and I'm sure you will derive some insights, and you love what he's building, I'm sure of that. So Abhishek, let me just rewind a bit, right? I think 2009 we both graduate from Pilani, and I think after that I really got in touch maybe 7 8 years later. I mean, we must have exchanged messages in between, but real conversations just after. So what happened in those 7 8 years? What was the journey like?
Perfect. So, uh, hi everyone. Thank you so much, Aditya and Team Stoa School for having me on. So, uh, I think been a journey of an unlikely entrepreneur, if you will. So, up to here. Uh, so, I think you know I think enough people will try telling you that there's a lot of intelligent design to how you go about, building your careers. I think it's probably a lot more about where your heart lies, and you sort of try to, string that thread as you go along. Uh, I started off with, journey's been really about saying, how can I be, how can I have my ears to the ground and see if there is something that all of the education that we're doing can be impactful, and how does that whole discovery of impact actually happen, right? Like how does it actually work? So I think starting off, thought that manufacturing is like one place where you could do it. Started off with ExxonMobil Lubricants, was doing production planning, saw the plants, saw what was happening on the ground there. It was interesting, of course, in the setting of a multinational. So that's a very different uh, place to get started. B school, finish B school, and then land up at Airtel. And that was, and Airtel, of course, had this whole thing saying uh, they are, they're so largely and so deeply into the whole thing, into the whole country, that you somewhere start thinking that, yeah, whether you're doing distribution, whether you're doing, you know, customer service, whether you're doing marketing, these are real strengths that Airtel brings to the fore. You would find people, across different industries who really graduated out of Airtel doing this, a lot of alumni around. So started off with the contact center experience there. Had the opportunity of running the first rural call center. They were figuring out saying, hey, we've got to run people in the deeper parts of India, serving the people like them, rather than have more urban, people focus and service the, service Bharat, if you will. So that was an experiment that they were doing. Was sort of drafted into that experiment to run that. So that was fun. Learned, actually was in the middle of nowhere. This was like the closest town is probably a place called Ongole. For most people who don't belong to Andhra Pradesh, they wouldn't know the place. So that's where I was. Like this is like 40 kilometers in the middle of nowhere, right from the place. So started there. That was insightful. Went from there to Airtel Money. Said Airtel Money was doing a lot on this, on the whole mass market at that point. So how do you think about it? Landed up with a product called Remittance. Never knew how people. So for the most time, it was always like people maybe send money around through the Hawala channel. That's what you think. That's the most prevalent way it happens. Turns out the government actually had a way to say that fine, people who have cash, who earn this way, can send money out. So when you start seeing, and this is really what it is, when you start seeing that people who who have to send money like you and me today. But for us, payments is a solved problem. For us, it's a problem that says, yeah, I mean, so what? I mean, this is done, right? UPI has solved it. So many apps have solved it. But here is an industry that does so much simply because they transfer people's money from the place where they work to where their families are. And that these people today are charged such a steep fee. It's charged over 1% for what they have to send. So that got me really thinking. That got me excited. That was the point where I said, okay, look, there is this market that most of us don't even know. We don't even recognize exists, because for us, the people who are not in our tier and we interact with, especially when you work in the sort of corporates that we're talking about and so on and so forth, is so limited. It's, for most people, it would come down to saying, what's my buy doing? What's my driver doing? What's the Bagalwala buy doing, right? That's what it is. Is there something more, right? So I think that was very interesting. Uh, then, of course, wanted to move into the startup space. Was in a startup that was focusing in Happy, which was focusing on lending to small mom and pop shops. Again, very interesting, because how mom and pop shops think about credit is very different from how we think about credit. I mean,
Right.
the whole opportunity of saying working capital, how do you fund working capital, what do you do with it, was interesting again. And what you could then do by getting one lead product out, and how you could create like other products around it, how you can cross sell, that potential became a lot real. In the telecom world, it was still a hated word when you said, what cross sells, all of us have hated that. But here you are, you like it, right? You say, okay, it makes sense. That's why institutions should cross sell. So I went from being aberrant of it, saying, why should this even happen, to, hey, this makes sense. There is like sound logic to doing this. And then to say that, okay, what is the logical next thing to do? When my friend from B School, somebody who is with a media network, Nilesh, who'd been very close to this whole the whole mass market, sort of came up and said, we're working on this thesis for a neobank solving this. Said, makes sense. So which is why we're doing Yellow, and that's the journey. So I think that's a longish answer, Aditya, to what you have to.
No, that's fine. That's interesting to know. In fact, I have a couple of questions about that, right? You were very humble and you did not mention the B school you went to, but you went to ISB, and I'm really surprised that you chose to stay in rural India. I mean, I haven't heard of anybody like, from my B school circles, or for that matter, anyone who has gone to by choice, staying in a rural Indian village or town or whatever that is. So, how did you handle that? I'm sure like family would be like, boss, you went to bit, then you went to ISB, and what are you doing with your life? Like, why are you staying in such a remote? I mean, I can get why you made the decision, but for the audience, I would really love to understand your thought process, right?
No, so great. I mean, I see. I think there's a little bit of. I think you have to have that flair for some vicarity in yourself. You have to love that, because quite back at the time that I was I moved from like tier A to tier 1 to tier 2 minus, and then was doing this whole stint. I got married as well. So turns out at that point, people were like, what are you doing? And then I said, I think there's enough people who are making an opportunity of working for the next so many crore Indians, because of course all of us are, there are lots of us who can empathize very easily with the people we and relate to the people that we see so often, we move with, that creating products for them is one end, but doing it for the mass market is always something else. So I think and that's truly where you see that you're then not talking about uh, you're actually going to a lot of essentials. You are seeing there that the quality of life change is so quick and so fast, and so much more that then appears typically, for at least from where I stand, when it happens for the more affluent. The affluent is more wow, but here is more about saying their lives just moved, and to be able to even see that is awesome. But I think that aside, there's a vicarious humor in this, that when you start looking at it and saying, yeah, doing a call center job is just, like, why would you even start there? But right, but hey, when you go up and you look at people, for example, I could see that I was in what was a leading school in that particular district, and we had MTechs come and sign up for jobs in the call center, saying, "I want to be here. This is my village. I also have a little bit that I do on the fields, so I just want to stay here. That's it. My parents stay here." And I said, "Wow! I mean, like, you know, quality of the MTech aside, the fact that they came in into call centers was quite an eye opener to be able to see them compete for those jobs."
Right.
And sure enough, the sense of community in those centers is so much stronger if you compare it to what is there in the urban. And how they then looked at it, that whole citizenship thing around, saying, hey, we need to be able to make the center really work, because this is what gets us employment. Vis-a-vis somebody in a tier 2 still saying, I have a few avenues, and in tier 1, pretty much deciding the drop of a hat to say that they got to move out. So very, very different psyche.
Right. And what I really found interesting, now we are going to talk about Yellow Bank, right? Is you name the I mean, yes, Yellow is the customer facing brand, but the organization itself is named something like 0.5 billion private limited, right? That's pretty audacious, right? Like just saying in the name of the company that you registered, saying he, like, people keep talking about bottom of pyramid and the next 500 million. What was that story like? What was that thought process कि company का नाम ही 0.5 billion रख देंगे?
No, I mean, I think it was a much faster decision than that. But I think the idea was this. I think this really came back from the hypothesis that Nilesh was working on, where they're working on the next 500 million Indians. How do you really bank them? And the other part, so the name of the entity is 0.5 billion FinHealth. I think the FinHealth part was the part that that really resonated. 0.5 billion is very aspirational, right? We really want to cater to so many people, and that's an aspiration stated out. But FinHealth is about saying that there are two aspects to FinHealth, right? And two aspects to the venture. All of us always keep looking at this whole thing saying impact, and then you sound a lot more like you are on the NGO side of things. You're sounding for like, but hey, ultimately, if you don't create a business out of this, it's never going to self-sustain, is the thought that really comes from people who are in the more patient capital world. And that is really what I think made a lot of sense for us to say, hey, let's build a business here. That's A. And B, let's make sure that whatever we are doing improves the financial health of this individual in a very measurable way. And that's something that we're in the quest of as we try to build the
Right.
entity.
So for the people who are listening in, right, what does Yellow
Absolutely.
Bank do? Right. If
So
you
Yellow is really awesome, right? Like, so thanks again. Like, I think we're here trying to really build, we're really taking formal finance to the entire mass market. Today, what we see is that people have most of their needs met informally. Uh, the way that we do it is we start with banking, and then we layer the other cross sells. So we would end up doing banking, financial services, and hopefully at some point we would do commerce as well. But it's really going to be that, right? So
got
it's
it.
going to be us doing banking and financials.
For somebody who stays in Bangalore and who comes from this tier one kind of mindset, right? For me, it sounds like a
I know
Jandan.
that's not true about you, Aditya, but anyway, I'll let that go.
No, no, I'm just saying, right? Like Jandan हो गया, UPI हो गया, अब इसका क्यों जरूरत है? Yellow Bank क्यों है? Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
I am genuinely like sometimes I ask myself that question, right? Because in my mind, you're talking about banking the poor, and like that is what we read in the newspapers. कि अरे जनधन हो गया है. So like, what is the scene there?
Right. So I sort of like make like one distinction. I think we're still far from saying poor. Like we are just going to the aspirational next Indian.
Got
So
it.
the next 10 crore Indians is where we're really starting out, because there is a lot of aspiration. There is a lot, in our consumer interviews, for example, I have found that people saying, and these are 21-year-olds who just joined their first job out of their training. Um, they're probably fitters, they're probably welders. That's the people that we're talking about. They are going to come and say that, हाँ जी, मैं तो 15-18 हजार के नीचे फोन खरीदूंगा ही नहीं.
Hmm.
Right now, that's aspirational. That's so they're aspirational, but what are they doing today? Today, well, they are really left to the choices that are available in the physical stores, and the physical stores do sort of provide them some services every now and then, but that's patchy, that's not great. It's and definitely, there is a case to be made that it can be more affordable for them, because they're also, for example, earning as much, they're doing a very decent deal to begin with, right? In the early part of their career, their needs for upskilling, their needs for financial products is just not met. So it's when you start looking at it, you say that, hey, there is this white space. I think that's one. And coming back to your question, Aditya, I think that's the whole point, that today the bar for people has really gone up. When you think about a Jan Dhan account, it is a rabbit hole account, right? It's about really saying put money in, take money out, do a little bit more. It's very limiting, right? And people are like, no, that's not my notion. Like more can happen. So every time we say, how is this need met? And then we talk about that need, to say it's informal, right? There's some informal mechanism. And mind you, the informal mechanisms are great, and they've been there for people who've been very rooted and they work for them. If you're more aspirational, can we do something? Like, that's really the question.
So I think what you're really saying is, hey, can I build the same consumer experience that somebody who is already like affluent, right? How can I bring the same consumer experience to an aspirational person, right? Yeah, am I correct in summarizing?
Absolutely.
Got
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Got it. One last question, and maybe not last, couple of last questions. One, I really loved how you guys did the marketing, right? The website, it has this nice mixture of Hindi and English, and even the name. And I would love for you to talk like Yellow Bank, right? Like, uh, how did you go about that branding and even the messaging on the website? I remember, and I'm not sure if it is still there, but you had used Devanagari, you had used English, and it was such a wonderful. Uh, I don't think a lot of people focus on branding and getting it right the first time around. So how did you guys go about the name? How you wrote the copy? What was the thought process there?
So I think, I wish, we could say something like, hey, we knew this all the way, or it was like a, quick lightning thought. No, it wasn't. It was a lot more iterative. I think we went through our own exercise of trying to. So I think it was very clear that the name had to, it had to touch the person who is our consumer, right? It's got to touch this aspirational person. So something that was very much very much in English was fine, so long as it was a word that just made a lot of sense for them. And then we also said that we've got to connote the fact that we are going to speak their boli, like, absolutely speak their boli, not even saying we will speak your vernacular language, but we've actually got to speak your boli. So we said, how do we go about it? And I think we got we got help from people around. We spoke, we had conversations. Finally, when the whole thing around yellow as a color, it's bright, it's positive, it's got that connotation, and then you have this play where you're able to say yellow. And ultimately we wanted to say yellow bank, right? Like, because that's the part that we really want to talk. We want to tell them that yellow bank, and what does it really mean? It means that people are getting the full gamut of services, that they feel a sense of being powerful,
Like
because
bank is
today
coming to them, and they don't have to go to the
yeah,
bank.
that notion of power and respect is so deep, and that's really what we wanted to connote, which is why we come back and we say that we're full power and full service with yellow. But that's that.
Right, right. The last question I have for Abhishek, I'm sure there were a lot of twists and turns, right, from the time Nilesh and you thought about doing this. And I know that it took a long time to build this out, working with banks and this and that. Um, what was that process like, right? Because you have this notion in your head, and I'm sure a lot of people have that hey, I'll start business, this is where I want to be in 6 months, this is where I want to be in 12 months. But when that 6 month turns into, let's say, 12 months or 15 months, I'm sure it must be frustrating, right? It must be frustrating. How was it? How is it like on the inside, right? Working
So
with.
it's gut wrenching. It's gut wrenching, and it. I mean, when you stand back and you keep looking at it, I think uh, it does two things. It one tells you why it is. It becomes even clearer why, let's say, entities that are already there are finding it hard to make this journey. That becomes very clear. I mean, not that analysis is missing when you stand outside, but it becomes a lot more. It's a lot clearer. I think the other thing around the entire journey, and a lot of the journey is about saying that, are you able to convince the entire gamut of people around you, whether this be, you know, partner banks, whether it be, you know, the entire, uh, you know, the potential talent pool that you have, it be the investing community, it be everybody saying, hey, you know, this is an idea that will happen. It's a problem, all right. So problem, I think communicating the problem is the easier part. But when you say that this solution works and that you are still able to navigate through whatever is needed on the, you know, from in terms of, we're a regulated industry, we're banking very, you know, we're banking on banking. So uh, there is got to be this whole notion of us understanding what, you know, how regulation works, how security works, how all of this works while we're putting out what we're doing. So I think that's brought its fair you know, share of challenges in terms of being able to pick the bank, being able to actually go out, get live, and even that point has meant that all of us have you know, have aimed, have re-aimed, have recalibrated and done that so many times now. It's almost become second nature. But yeah.
Yeah. No, and I think you're the right person for that kind of thing, right? Like I can totally see why you can do it. I don't think a lot of people without patience, I don't think they can do it. And you spoke about Bharat, you spoke about that impact, and it just feels right. I'm happy that you are in that place, and we wish you all the best. And congratulations on the AWS award. I'm sure Nilesh mentioned it somewhere that you guys just won the AWS award, and I'm sure you played a big role in that, Abhishek. You're the chief product officer at Yellow. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. I think credit to, you know, to our co-founder CTO Nishant, who really put that architecture together and was able to showcase how we're really building this on AWS with, you know, keeping both the agility and the security together, right? So being able to do that. But thanks so much, Aditya. It's been great fun.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank you for having
thank you
us.
for coming on
Thank you.
the show, and all the
Wish
best.
Stoa, you know, I think you guys are landing up on a great concept. I think wish Stoa School the very best, and I'm sure this is really, really going to, you know, I think the need today is for that bite-sized MBA. So I think this is so much hitting that on the nail. So yeah,
Yeah,
wish
and
you
I'm
all the very
sure Yellow
best.
is going to be coming to Stoar's cohorts to hire from our wonderful fellows. So thanks a lot, Abhishek. Thanks a lot
Thank
for
you.
Tony, coming on the show, and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.